We're rolling. Stand by.
Hey, Mark.
The film centers on this relationship between Jake and Katie, his 7-year-old. And Jake is not completely whole. He's not well mentally.
The accident's made me a little bit sick, and I have to get fixed. I need to be stronger so I can take care of you.
You do.
And Katie, all she wants to do is be with her father. She lost her mother when she was 4 years old. They both went through this traumatic experience, and love is what is holding them together.
The way it's structured, I think it's very interesting because you see the cause and effect of difficult parenting.
It's a fairly complex story. It takes place in 2 time periods. It takes place in the 80s with a father-daughter story with Russell Crowe and a little actress named Kylie Rogers.
You didn't think I spent the whole time in the hospital basket weaving, did you?
Any good?
Best thing I've ever written.
Russell Crowe plays this very talented, award-winning novelist in this movie that has some medical issues and has to go away for a while. And we take care of his daughter in his absence.
When Jake, played by Russell, has to go to a mental institution, she comes and lives with us for about 7 months, about a year. And so, you know, I'm very attached to her and I don't want to let her go. And it's becoming, you know, a big point of contempt, as you can imagine, between Jake and Elizabeth.
We'd like to adopt Katie.
What?
And then the second half of the movie is the little girl grown up who turns into Amanda Seyfried. And then it's sort of the ramifications of her childhood.
I don't love.
But you have loved.
A long time ago, once.
So you know that you can love.
It's about Katie when she gets older, learning how to trust someone and to love them again, like develop deep feelings for them because everyone that she ever loved or had really good feelings for left her.
He's a writer, and he's had a little bit of success. And he faces a couple of big challenges in his life, one of which is bringing his daughter up by himself, but the other of which is facing down some medical issues that make themselves known.
Now you're experiencing a manic depressive psychosis brought on by the accident, the brain trauma, the loss of your wife. Those seizures are definitely a sign of something far more serious, and if you don't at least try treatment and give yourself a chance, you will end up with a much worse condition.
He brings a soulfulness, I think, to Jake's character and a depth that not, you know, everyone has. And I couldn't have dreamed of a more perfect Jake.
Usually the first take is probably the one. He's incredibly prepared and incredibly aware of everything surrounding him. He never controls himself at the monitor because he's so aware of everything that he doesn't have even to check.
What are you writing?
I am writing a new book.
What's it about?
It's about you.
Me? Young Katie is very happy in most scenes. She's curious. Sometimes she can be sad.
Kylie, who plays Russell's daughter, is a huge discovery. I mean, I think she's just fantastic at such a young age.
She's particularly special, I mean, because we pretty much do probably about 70 or 80% of the stuff that we do in the movie together. You don't have to have a friendship with fellow actors to have chemistry, you know. If somebody's bringing it, and that's where the chemistry is going to come from because of what people are putting out. But it's just much more fun if you have a real connection as well.
Potato chip! Hey!
I missed you
too. You guys coming back and now I'm back.
Well, I know, but I waited forever. I know. Are you here for good? For like forget it for good?
Forever and ever and
Ever?
yeah.
Okay.
She's just such a sweet girl. She's sweet, she's smart, she stays in the present moment of the scene with me, you know, she's really focused that way and able to sort of, you know, read the situation as we go and keep the pretend going, no matter what I throw at her, and I've been throwing some silly stuff at her, because, you know, the dad part of you takes over and you want to keep her amused as well.
Russell and me have a really good connection. He calls me a lot of nicknames too.
Monkey.
He calls me Potato Chip.
Dolphin.
Monkey Dolphin sometimes.
Pumpkin.
He's really sweet. I love him. Every time I work with him, it's great.
There's nothing in here. There's nothing. It's like, it's an empty well. It's just dry and barren.
She's fighting a little bit of PTSD and a little bit of depression and a lot of self-hatred because of the way she behaves in her life and the lack of ability to properly deal with the issues that she has regarding her past, her childhood.
I've been a fan of Amanda, for years, and then I felt so lucky to do a show with her for so many years, and then work again with her is just, it's great. It's fantastic.
And Aaron Paul, one of the nicest people I've ever worked with, really brought a lot to the character of Cameron, really had a lot to say about it. Beautiful love story, and they have great chemistry.
Hi, my name's Cameron.
I'm Katie.
Katie,
Yes.
as in Kate Davis.
You're the real Kate Davis?
My character is kind of infatuated with her character. He's just lived with her character inside of his head for many years because his favorite book is Fathers and Daughters. And Amanda's character, her father, who Russell Crowe plays, wrote that book, and is really based on Katie. And so he's just known her, for so many years.
It's so easy to work with Aaron. He's so, he's so attractive, he's so likable, and so it's easy for me as Katie to like be drawn into him. And you want to see that there's a chance that Katie could love this person.
I play Elizabeth, who is Patricia's sister who was married to Russell Crowe, and she died in a car accident. Elizabeth is very unhappy in her marriage. She's sort of the trophy wife that is all in appearance and goes to country clubs, and she likes to drink a little bit too much because she finds herself very lonely in this big house by herself because her husband is not really interested in her.
Did you know we were going to have lunch the day of her funeral? We were finally going to discuss some of the things that had been keeping us apart,
Elizabeth.
And there's not a day that I don't think about that.
She had a very distinct take on her character, and so we actually expanded the role for her. So we get a little bit more behind the scenes of who Elizabeth is, why she's doing the things she's doing. She's not just the evil aunt. She actually has reasons for how she behaves.
I play a guy who's very, very wealthy and absolutely convinced that he has the best interests of the child at heart, and feels that the guy that Russell is playing just hasn't got it together. So it doesn't really matter to me how he feels. I'm going to bring all the pressure to bear that I can to do what I think is best for the child. But of course, he's the guy I'm somewhat arrogant about it.
Katie is my daughter.
Well, yeah, of course she is, but we're very comfortable.
Staying at St. Francis for a year, I imagine you ran through most of your money.
You'd see her whenever you want, and this is going to free you up to concentrate on your...
I really enjoyed working with Bruce. We were sort of, I think that was my first couple of days on the job, and we have quite a negative relationship in the movie. But again, we had a connection as people, so it kind of makes the negativity what you're doing on camera even juicier, because you both got a twinkle in your eye and you're sort of just enjoying it.
In the interplay between Russell's character and mine, there's lots of room for guys that are relatively bright to move around the issues, and that's kind of what's been fun.
I think it's one of the best scripts I've ever read, frankly. It's highly emotional, highly relatable. There's so much life in this script. I just connected very much. And I'm not the only one, because actually the cast that came together says probably how good the script it is.
I just fell apart reading the script. It's just so emotional. It hits you on a very deep level if you're a parent, I suppose. The connection between father and daughter is beautifully written. And, you know, I just have a rule with the things that I do. I don't do a movie unless I'm physically affected by the script. And this was just undeniable. You know, I called the moment that I finished reading it and started the process of connecting myself to the project.
I love the script. It got to my heart. I only read the young Katie part because when she's an adult, there's some inappropriate stuff that I can't read. But it really got to me, and I like the script a lot.
Brad Dash, the writer, brought it to me. We had a relationship from another script that he had written that I tried to produce, and then he brought this one to me, and I fell in love with it. And you know, it takes a lot of persistence and determination to get a movie like this made.
This is a epic drama, and it's about love and being loved and relationships, and that's not always the easiest thing to get made.
It is nice when the script sort of, you know, starts to get a lot of attention, and that was very, you know, it's very welcome. And you know, the Blacklist was nice, but when a script starts to get sort of notoriety, it's very exciting. It doesn't happen that often, and that was obviously, you know, I've been doing it for a while, so it was obviously great, but sort of the real goal, obviously, is to get the movie made.
This script was sent to me. I read it before knowing who was involved. I thought it was just so honest and pure and just genuine, and I heard that Amanda was playing Katie and Russell was playing her father, and I had to jump at the chance.
Who's directing the project? That's the first thing I want to know, and everything. The energy coming from the director is everything. What the director's done, it's all about the director, really. Like, if it's an amazing director, it's hard. It would be hard to say no.
It's perfect for Gabriele because he loves dramas. He loves love and passion and heartache and all the good things, you know, in this movie sort of speak to Gabriele on a personal level.
I think Gabriele, you know, I have great affection for him because he's so crazy. His English is, at the best of times, hysterical. You know, nobody can understand a word he says, and his brain goes like, you know, 1,000 miles per second. And I think maybe because I'm European, you know, I understand like some of the shortcuts he does in English. So I find myself sort of translating between the Americans and him, like, no, you're like talking, you know, like this. But he's a very emotional director. I think he's very much in tune with his emotions, and he really wants to make a movie that has a lot of realism and emotions, and you know, it's nice.
He has that way to talk to an actor to pull the best performances from them, and I just realized, you know, in reading this script, it's like you need someone who's great with relationships, and you need someone to be able to tell a story of struggle and pain and heartbreak, and there was really no one better for me for this film.
Gabriel is great because he has a couple of cameras going at all the time, so you can play around, you can change things a little bit, and the scene can, you know, take a turn that you don't expect, and then you're free to do it because you don't have to match it somewhere else, you know. It's really liberating.
I did some rewrites for Gabriele specifically to sort of like, you know, work out some of the issues. I think his main focus was, you know, to make it more visual, which I think he's got a great sense of kind of visual storytelling. It was really nice for me to work with him because he's a real director's, you know, he's got that director's eye. I mean, he thinks like a director, and I think so much like a writer, and so a lot of, you know, there were a lot of cuts in the script. We don't need this, we don't need that, so that was nice.
It's a very moving, beautiful story about parents and children and about finding love, but it's very dramatic.
It's about life, about death, about loss, about love, and fear to lose the person you love is basically the foundation.
This speaks about family, it speaks about the essential love between a parent and a child, it speaks about loss and grief. You know, there's a lot of things in this movie that people will connect to from their own life. Give you a warning ahead of time, though, you better take some tissues.
It's a great movie, and I'm sad that I'm leaving.